DBU, right, Lon? DBU.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Kylin Jackson. He could be the latest. He might be the latest in a long line of course, successful defensive backs, star defensive backs at LSU, and he is the latest to commit to the Bayou Bengals right out of Zachary as a top 10 safety in the country, top 10 player out of the state of Louisiana.
A lot of people are thinking, oh, he's going to flip to A&M. He's going to flip to A&M. And I had heard, there's going to be someone who's thought to commit who's going to actually be going to A&M or some other school. And I was like, I don't think that's going to be Kylin, even though he pushed his commitment date back. I thought that would be Jordan Matthews most likely. And luckily for LSU's sake, turned out to be true. Kylin Jackson, forced to be reckoned with. He's a playmaker at DB. I mean, just look at what he did in his title game. Again, the title game victory for Zachary, his high school against Ponchatoula. 9 tackles, blocked 2 kicks as well. He just very versatile player. Someone who I mentioned a few times, and definitely in that is LSU in trouble under Brian Kelly video, kind of a crossroads of the recruiting class video. I said Kylin Jackson's a guy they'll have to get, and I believe that they would. He was in our mock class as someone who LSU would pick up, and our mock class number 1 list is undefeated thus far, Mark. Kylin Jackson, everyone was freaking out for a second there, but there was nothing to worry about. He was coming to LSU.
And for people that checked out that video, I had to remind many in the comment section, it was a question. It was a question that was being asked.
Yeah.
Are there recruiting issues? Not there are recruiting issues. Just, hey, it's not up to standards at this point. Just we're exploring at this point. So we're just exactly. Of course, that's why we check in with Lon. Lon sets us straight. All right.
It was mixed.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2 other August commits coming in, Shelton Sampson and a guy that you prepped us on for a long time that you expected to flip and come Brian Kelly's way. And of course, that's Ricky Collins, the quarterback who had once committed to Purdue.
Man, I tell you what, Ricky Collins, he's someone that my buddy Adrian Perkins was just telling me about way back in 2020, saying, forget Eli Holstein, forget Arch Manning. This is the young man from that potentially historic 2023 quarterback class out of Louisiana who's going to be the guy to keep your eyes on. And it seemed like, is he going to go to Purdue? And then I kept thinking about Purdue. There's no way. If LSU actually make a push, actually show the desire, like, we want you to be our class quarterback, he's going to come to LSU. Of course, it was a dream come true for the young man. Fantastic get out of Woodlawn High. Ricky Collins off the field, fantastic young man, high 4-star, elite 11 quarterback. He's what you want to represent the brand of LSU. And it's fantastic to keep a great young Louisiana quarterback home and away from the Big Ten, or whatever the future name of that super conference will potentially be. But fantastic to keep him home. And then you give him a 5-star target that he saw commit, I think it was like a few days before he did, Shelton Sampson Jr., someone who I constantly said, this is the guy LSU have to get the number 1 priority, number 1, because he is such a playmaker. Blessed with, like, I think a 6'3", 6'4" height already. He's starting to put on the weight as well. He had just under 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, absolutely brilliant last year while playing with some really messed up hand, like a broken finger, I believe, and was making some fantastic clutch catches as well. He had some games where, like, I believe in the title game that Catholic High won, he only had like 3 catches in that game or something for like 30 yards. A bad game for Shelton Sampson Jr., but then he made this clutch, absolute do or die 3rd down catch in between covers that was just like, you have to see to believe. And it's like, that's what won and sealed that title game for Catholic High when he showed up in that moment. Shelton Sampson Jr. is an absolute dog. To keep him home, Baton Rouge young man, Alabama coming after him, Texas A&M coming after him, Florida State coming after him, and Florida State probably had the best chance of anybody actually, because of some of his connections with Sheldon Sampson Jr. But wow, it just was it was incredible to get that 5-star receiver, who I believe is the number 1 receiver of the class, despite some other recruiting rankings and things like that. I just think pound for pound, he has to be the guy. And it's great to once again show Brian Kelly showing people I can recruit Louisiana, and I can recruit it as good as anybody has done in a while.